Hey guys, Doug. So today we're going to be going over a major unlock that I have found in shooting, specifically with your vision. If you have any trouble at all understanding or articulating visual focus, then this video is for you. So I got this information from Professor Kim, Mr. Kim with the Practical Shooting Training Group folk. Highly recommend his stuff. His stuff is down below. Highly recommend checking it out after you watch this video. So he has a demonstration that he does in class that he shared in content that I found incredibly interesting, and I'm going to share it with you guys today. So the exercise is you take your hand, you put your finger out in front of your face like this, right? And then you're going to find something very small, something specific, and he describes it as a molecular-sized piece of the target. So we're going to be picking a molecular-sized piece of your fingernail and then orienting that kind of over a molecular-sized point of a target. So what that means is a very, very, very small spot on the target. Not an inch, not an A-zone, not a pacer. You want a small specific part of a small specific spot on the target, if that makes sense. So with that, you're then going to take your focus of your finger, you're going to take your eyes and focus them on the tip of your finger, and then you're going to shift it to the target, to that small molecular size part of the target, and then shift it back to your finger. The way he does it in class is he takes a shot timer. If you have a shooting partner or a training partner, or if you and your wife do this together like me and my wife do, my wife and I do, jeez. So the way that my wife and I do it, we have the ability to have two people. So what he does in class is he takes a shot timer, he puts the part time to instant so that when you, I'm sorry, not part time, delay time to instant, so that when you hit the button, it beeps. And then, so what he has you do is he has you do the drill. So you're focused on a small molecular sized part of your finger, and then you have a small molecular sized part on the target that you're going to switch your focus to. And you start looking at your finger, and he beeps, and you shift your focus to the target. And it starts off beep, 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 but then he increases it beep, 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 and to the point where you are rapidly shifting focus between your finger and the sight. I'm sorry, your finger and the target. And what that is going to allow you to do is focus and feel the muscles in your eyes contracting as you go back and forth in focus. And once you start doing that, you can start being aware of what it feels like for your eyes to shift focus. Then, with that information, what I started doing, I told you guys in that last video, I think it was the last video, that what I'm looking for right now is a perfectly centered dot as I do my presentation. Well, here's a fun fact. If you're looking for a perfectly centered dot in your presentation, you're looking for your dot. Yep, that's probably true. Maybe it's not true. Maybe you're amazing, but it's probably true. If you're looking for your dot, you're looking at your dot, probably. So with that, what you want to see when you are doing your presentation drills is, or anything that you're presenting a gun to the target, which is like most shooting, right? So what you want is for your sights, your vision to be, the focus of your vision to be glued onto a small molecular sized part of the target. And then you take your gun and present the dot onto that point of focus. You don't want to be looking for the dot, which means the gun, the housing of the red dot should be out of focus. You should not be focusing on that. It should be sort of challenging to tell where you are in your window because you're focused so hard on that small spot on the target. Now, I'm not saying you can't be aware of where your dot is in the window. Sometimes you need to be aware of where your dot is in the window. But the idea is that when you're focused so hard on the small part on the target, it shouldn't be particularly obvious to you where in the window your dot is until you kind of try to be aware of it, right? And here's the trick. As you do this, take your gun out of view. Why? Okay, so now that you understand what it feels like to focus your vision or to not focus your vision, if you pull your gun away from the small spot on the target and your eyes aren't still glued to that small spot on the target, you were looking at something else. So maybe it was the dot, maybe it wasn't, but you were looking at something else if you pull the gun away and your vision is not still glued on that exact same spot. And you now have the awareness to know what it feels like when your eyes are shifting back to that small spot rapidly. So you should be able to focus on that small spot, present the gun, have a dot appear onto that exact point of focus, and then pull the gun away and not lose that that hard focus, right? So if you ever find yourself where you present the gun and your eyes do that shift when you pull the gun away, you weren't focused on that spot. You're focused on something else. Something distracted you or something else grabbed your attention. And that has been very interesting for me to be practicing on this week. I showed this to my wife and she found it very interesting as well, because you do these things on a every day, right? You're used to focusing on stuff in general. Let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. There we go. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so you're used to focusing on stuff throughout the day, but you're not used to zeroing in on your focus properly. So when you do this, you can do this with a gun. You can do this without a gun. I've been running the designated target drill in dry without my gun. I've just literally been focusing on aggressively transferring my point of focus on the target without a gun, just driving the vision aspect of things. And I have found it incredibly interesting. Now, I haven't had a chance to live fire this yet, but guys, highly recommend giving this one a try. It has been a major unlock for me in how I'm kind of mentally articulating what I'm trying to do, and it's helped me zero in on specific points of the process with shooting. If you watch any business stuff and if you're aware of Alex Hormozi, he talks about it's not a silver bullet, it's 100 golden BBs, and I have found shooting is exactly like that. It's not really this exact, like, it's not your master grip, it's not target focus, it's not target focus is a pretty big one, but it's not these 5 foundational skills. It's these individual parts of the foundation, so that you can actually, it's not the foundation, it's the bricks, if you will. It's the bricks, there's individual bricks that make up the foundation. If your individual bricks aren't developed, then your foundation won't be strong. But if you are taking the time to cure your bricks fully, so that they're fully cemented when they go into the position to build your foundation, now you can really build something significant. If you don't know how to make bricks, you can't make a foundation. And if you can't make a foundation, you can't become good at shooting. The foundation is everything. And those core small parts of the foundational skills, those are the things that set you apart as a shooter. Those are your core foundational understanding of scripture is what sets you apart as someone that walks in understanding. These 100 golden BBs, those are the thing that make you good at stuff. And in shooting, understanding vision focus at a deep level, that is a critical aspect of your foundation. And it's one of those things that I have found that the curing process, if you will, never stops. So I'd highly recommend looking into that. I'd highly recommend giving his content a check. I'd highly recommend giving this focus shift drill a try. See if you can articulate that feeling in your eyes, and then start implementing that into your dry and live fire. I think that it will be a major unlock for you, just like it was for me. And I'm going to keep working on this. Highly recommend that you guys do the same out there. Good should be good, guys. Have a wonderful day. If you're observant, have a great Shabbat. If you're watching this today, and yeah, shalom.